verse number 21. Prepare a slaughter for his children because of the iniquity of their fathers. Because of the iniquity of their fathers. Please listen to me. I didn't come to preach. I came to speak to you as an elder stateswoman today. There's a lot of dysfunctionality in our homes, in our marriages, in family life and others, because in my village they will say, Abuke Erwewo Ani Okelenwo Ewosale. Let's be as foundational as possible. There are 4 kinds of husbands and 4 kinds of wives that have now translated into 4 kinds of parents. And we are dealing with 3 major generations. We're dealing with our parents' generation, we're dealing with our generation, and we're dealing with our children's generation. The illiterate of the 21st century are not the people that cannot read or write. They are the people that cannot unlearn and relearn. That is a fact. It's the truth. Did you hear what those children were saying? Should parents impose our children? Because we are dealing with that generation. The generation of our parents is what I call the structured generation. What you see is what you get. Sit down, come here. You don't even ask questions. Our generation is the transition generation. Their generation is the handover generation, because we don't even know if Jesus tarries, what will eventually come. If you look at what we have today, wow. You ask your parents questions, or delay. If 40, you know from the 40, some slabs that stars will just be coming out like this. But that's not the generation we are dealing with. And a lot of parents don't understand this. They still want to be doing 40 as their parents did. It won't work. Many pastors have lost their children and they are still preaching, because those children are doing well in academics. But they don't know that their children are not serving their God, and they are busy winning the world. A lot of times, fathers think that it's only mothers that should take care of children and raise children and drop children off. Times have changed. Hebrews chapter 1 and verse number 1. God, who at sundry times before used to do it like this. This is how he does it now. Principles don't change, but methods change. Let's wake up, parents, and not remain 21st century illiterates. It's only the woman that should cook. It's only the woman that should be in the kitchen. It's only the woman that should carry the children. Times have changed. If you don't want to lose your children, because it is the child you nurture today that will nourish you in the evening of your life. Whether you're a man or a woman. I didn't have a great relationship with my mother, and I vowed that my children will not suffer what I suffered. I had a fantastic relationship with my father, and that helped my relationship with God. Fathers, your children are like plain sheets of paper. It is whatever you write. Don't give those papers to house heads alone. When we started adopting children, then we began to have housekeepers. But for our biological children, I've never had one house help in my life. Fathers, you cannot continue to mess up other people's children and expect not to reap it over your children. You can't continue to have 3 girlfriends because you are not born again. I'm not talking about religion. Even if you are not born again, nature teaches decency. You cannot leave your wife at home and be sleeping around, sleep with your secretary, sleep with your house help, sleep with this, sleep with that, and expect that your children will turn out well. It doesn't work that way. Genesis 8:22. Life is not governed by miracles. Life is governed by principles. You saw it, you must reap it. 14 and verse number 21. Prepare a slaughter for his children because of the iniquity of their fathers. There are too many fathers that are messing up other people's children and they expect their own children to turn out well. Let's stop it. We're talking about dysfunctionality. This is where it starts. No Sunday school can adequately help you train your children. Sunday school teachers, no school teacher can adequately help you raise your family. They're your children. Have the number you can rear, not just bear. So if you know you're not ready to rear children, zip up and go do family planning. God is not against family planning. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. Multiply, replenish, subdue. What's the meaning of subdue? Control. What's the meaning of that? Plan. What's the meaning of that? Family plan. That's the meaning. Control. Life is not lived in years. Life is lived in seasons. 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 Even when I started taking invitations and began to travel around the world, I was going with my children. Go watch my old videos. I will give them the microphone either to sing or to speak before I speak. So they will know that God did not steal your money from you. The same thing my husband was doing. Let's create time for our children. Let us create time for our children. Thank you, sir. If we don't want to repeat a theme like this, let's create time for our children. Pastor, husbands, wives, you are not El Shaddai, else you shall die. You cannot win the world. When we get to heaven, God is not going to ask you how many branches do you have. We don't need 2 Pastor Adeboyes. We don't need 2 Baba Yejepos. Face whatever God. Let there be no competition. Stay with your children. If your Christianity does not work at home, don't bother to export it. You have no right to ask me to respect you until I have met your wife and your children. Can I see if what we are preaching is showing in their lives? Yes, I know you can preach. Yes, I know you can prophesy. Yes, I know you are mighty. But excuse me, please, can I just visit your home and see what you have poured into your children before you start telling me how to rule my life? That's great time. This is how it starts. Are you always there? You may never have quantity time for your children or for your husband or for your wife, but you must have quality time. When you are home, suspend social media and talk and discuss and open up and befriend each other. When you are home, let your children ask you questions. Otherwise, television will answer those questions for them. Otherwise, your enemies will put in them what you never imagined. If you know the percentage of Nigerian children abroad that are failing, I'm not talking about academics, you will cry. As mothers, men are bulldozers. They just pull this down, pull that down. But as women, we are the ones that we see the banana peel that can make somebody fall. We're the ones that we see the shrubs, the little things. And God did not make a mistake by making us two, father and mother for the child. Absentee husbands, absentee wives that have now become absentee parents. This functionality can be corrected. There's not one of us here, if you're an African, that does not have a trace of it because of where we are coming from. But we can change the narrative. We can change the narrative. Don't think, maybe Mr. Adejumo. No. There's nothing I can do that you cannot do. Nothing. I only came to inspire you. Abusive parents, abusive husbands, abusive wife. Emotional abuse, financial abuse, psychological abuse, even for your children. Environmental conditioning and social programming has made a lot of us live the kind of life you don't want to live. What are the things you have believed about yourself that is causing dysfunctionality? A woman cannot do it. In our family, they cannot. Our children cannot. Firstborn are always, today I destroy such yokes. And I push all of you, including me, to the top. And if you're here, you're not yet born again, please give your heart to Jesus Christ. That's the starting point. I will see you all at the top. I love you.